What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Naughty Dog Week, right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames for another Naughty Dog gameplay stream, all building up to my new video essay dropping this Friday titled I Replayed Every Naughty Dog Game. We've already got Crash Bandicoot on Monday with Tim. Yesterday we had Blessing try out Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy.
He's never played it.
I know, right,
He
Greg?
didn't know Daxter was a human.
He didn't know Daxter was a human that turned into an Ottsel. I did tell him about the fun Easter egg at the beginning of Uncharted 1 where the wetsuits that they're wearing is Ottsels. That's really cute. And I knew that about him, or I assumed that about him, that he hadn't played it. And I knew, I was like, he would love this game. He would, him and I being the 3D platformer collectathon sickos, I knew he would really gravitate towards it. And so, yeah, that was a fun time, Blessing checking that out yesterday. And of course, today, I couldn't have anybody else for Uncharted than Gregory James Miller. Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Barrett. Thank you for having me along. I'm proud of you. I'm excited for this big old video essay we're getting. It's a lot of fun. And I'm excited to play Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. As the headline says, the best Uncharted. I'm excited.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into all those conversations there of Uncharted 2 versus Uncharted 3 and the original Uncharted trilogy and all of that.
Sure.
But as a reminder, Naughty Dog Week will not end today. It's going to continue on tomorrow. I am taking the day off because the Cleveland Guardians are playing the San Francisco Giants, so I'm going to go see my two favorite baseball teams play against each other and probably watch the Giants win. Guardians aren't great this year, but that's okay. And so in my stead, we will have Mike and Nick play The Last of Us Part 2, probably that roguelike mode, because I don't know if that's something either of them have tried, and I think that would be fun for them to check that out. And the mission I have for you, or the thing that I need y'all to do, chat, is to hold them accountable. Because I see in my mind's eye 5 minutes into this stream tomorrow where I'm off and I can't supervise.
Snappy, what if we just play Doom?
Yeah, Nick just starts singing the fucking Doom song and shit. I could see them 100% doing that. So have them at least play around each of the roguelike mode to help promote the video essay coming out this Friday exclusively on YouTube as a YouTube premiere, taking the place of your regularly scheduled Gamescast that'll premiere on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames right after Kind of Funny Games Daily. And then we'll be streaming after that. That stream will have nothing to do with Naughty Dog, but it's going to be a fun stream, so stay tuned for that. And I can say, I don't think this has been said anywhere else.
Announcement.
Because I've been kind of wishy-washy in the past of like my video essays, you know, they're definitely edited to be watched in a visual medium and all this stuff. Putting that on podcast services, people are always like, I want to listen to it and stuff. There will be an audio version that goes out on podcast services as well, probably after the YouTube premiere, just to encourage everybody to actually like watch the video, because I put a lot of time and effort into making it a visual thing. But if you want the audio version, it'll be out there for you audio sickos.
You audiophiles.
You audiophiles. Now, Greg.
Yes?
We are starting Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, despite what the headline says of the best Uncharted game, because there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Obviously,
the discussion.
If you look at the review scores of the IGN reviews for
your definitive site for IGN reviews, just reviews in general. IGN, your definitive site for video game reviews.
Yes. You know, if you looked at just the review scores, people would assume, well, 3, right? Because
10 out of 10.
It got a 10 out of 10. And
from the world's biggest video game, most acclaimed video game website of all time.
And 2 got a 9.5.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's always been a kind of a back and forth of like, which is actually the better Uncharted game. And from
the answer is Golden Abyss.
Oh, wow.
No.
Oh, wow. From what my understanding, though, right, Greg, is that your argument isn't that Uncharted 3 is leaps and bounds better than Uncharted 2. Your argument is that they both should have been a 10 out of 10.
Roper should have just done it. Well, I don't know what he was thinking with Uncharted 2 in this 9.5 business. You know what I mean? It's a great game. It's another masterpiece that's held up to this level. And again, I think there's also the argument that if Uncharted 3 had been Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 2 had been 3, maybe there's a different, you know, people are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They're also, my downside of Uncharted 2 and my disappointment in Uncharted 2 was that it was just so Uncharted 1 again. I just didn't like Nate and Elena are apart. Now they're back together. Blah, 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 blah. The whole thing happens. There's a supernatural twist, and this is what we're doing. And then guess what? We all end with Nate and Elena back together. I was like,
yeah.
This kind of feels by the numbers. So Uncharted 3 being that buddy cop comedy that a little bit more with Sully and stuff, even though there's more Nate and Elena business in there, I liked more.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's a bit of a formula you can feel in Uncharted 2 of like, oh, we're gonna do the the mystical creature plot thing again, and for me personally, not hit as hard. I feel like the creepiness of the Uncharted 1 stuff hits way more.
Well, I mean, and think about it too, like if you had the chance to, when I was reviewing Uncharted, I did not expect it to go supernaturally. Like, it was never something they talked about. They never teased that. They never like really. I mean, you can make the argument that like, oh, they copied Indiana Jones and a lot of India, but like it wasn't. They never showed their cards. So when that starts happening, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? You know what I mean? And so then to get here and have it again, you're like, okay, I guess this is the formula for these games.
Yep. Yeah, so let's start up Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. And the reason I want you to start this one up is I've heard the story time and time again of, you do the preview of Uncharted 1 and you see Nate's pants are all wet and like the technical prowess of Naughty Dog doing their very first PS3 game, right? But I don't feel like I've heard you talk about your first experience with Uncharted 2, because yes, there is like you said, if like Uncharted 2 and 3 had flipped, the jump from Uncharted 1 to either of those games would have been big and all this stuff. What was it like starting Uncharted 2 at the time? Because as I talk a little bit in my video, which you can watch this Friday, I feel like there's a lot of Uncharted 1 that feels much smaller in terms of scale, especially in like big action set pieces and all that stuff. So like, take me back, where were you in 2009? What was your biggest, what were your memories of starting up Uncharted 2 for the first time?
2009, I'm working at IGN, of course, and I didn't review Uncharted 2. The story goes, of course, is that I wouldn't have reviewed Uncharted 1. Uncharted 1, I was still very green at IGN, and this was the biggest review I had been put on, and it was strictly because Roper had to go on paternity leave. Roper went and had the misfortune of having a child. And so when Uncharted 2 came around, he was very much like, listen, you shouldn't have gotten Uncharted 1, so I'm taking Uncharted 2. And I'm like, I got it, I understand that, I respect that. And so, this is in a different time. Roper was already hard at work on his review. I forgot how many burned discs we got, because that's how it was. But I remember eventually stealing away and bringing a test unit home and starting it there. And yeah, from that onset, the train sequence we're about to begin, to your point, like, whoa, like, this is so much bigger than what Uncharted was. They are doing something so different here from what Uncharted 1 was. Like, obviously it's the same DNA, but it is more budget, more understanding of what the PlayStation 3 was. I think that's another reason Uncharted 2 stands out, I think, to so many people as the best, is because it's their favorite. It's their first. A lot of people, it was their first. Uncharted 1 does ship on a far different PlayStation 3 landscape.
Right.
Where this was one of the first things on Beyond we got to be like, what? Look at this thing we got. You know what I mean? Whereas Uncharted 2, we'd already had the price drop, I believe, in the PlayStation 3 at this point.
Yeah, they're starting to grow their audience way more.
There was an install base for people that were like, oh, I want to jump into this and go with that. Yeah. So yeah, that was it. So I got to go home and I played it. But again, it was that thing of, I remember coming in and being like, it's awesome, but I feel let down. You know what I mean? I felt like I was actually, it's interesting, I think I would have been more critical if I had written the review. Just because of, again, I'm the story guy, and so like, yeah, all the gameplay is way better, obviously. The visuals are way better, obviously. But the fact that they didn't move the ball further on Nate's relationships, I didn't like. And I think there's an argument too, again, Amy was always so clear in interviews that this is a pulp-inspired action adventure, right? And I understand that in Indiana Jones, for the most part, right, we reset the relationships. There isn't a through line until now that he's old. But back then I was like, damn, that's not the kind, I want that kind of storytelling, which again is one of the reasons I liked Uncharted 3, where it was like, yes, him and Elena are separated, right? But something has happened. They were married. This did, something has happened beyond just like, yeah, we got together, but it was,
Yeah, and even Uncharted, and it's more than just like we didn't work out. Like, there's something deeper in there that is like much more like fundamentally interesting to explore when you do that whole separate and then come back together again.
Yeah, and even Uncharted 4, right then, having that really taking that to the next level.
Yes.
Of like, cool, we're taking this man out of the pulp adventure comic book pages and putting him in a dead-end job he hates. You know what I mean? And his brother shows up and they have to
He's
do all this
enjoying it.
He hated being salvaged, you know that. That wasn't what Nate was meant to do. He's meant to fly.
Yeah, he's meant to fly.
right,
Start
ready?
this up, Greg.
Let's go.
Because it really hit me this time, because I've been also vocal on other pieces of content, not to spoil too much of what I'll talk about on Friday. I think I've also been kind of like an Uncharted 2 hater's a strong word, but in terms
But
of
if you
like,
aren't like it's perfect, then
in terms of like where it ranks and all this stuff between all the Uncharted games, I definitely didn't understand like why people loved it so much, because for me it's like also the lack of Sully in this game.
Yeah.
Like he helps you out for a little bit and then he's like, I'm getting too old for this shit, and like
But I
drops out.
love
like,
Chloe. I thought that she was such a
Yes,
great addition to it.
100%. But like the fact that they build up like Nate and Sully and Elena so much in the first game,
Sure.
and then like Sully gets sidelined, and then they do a good job of like reintegrating Elena and all that stuff. Like that was a big frustrating moment
Yeah.
for me. The Lazarevitz fight, which we won't get to obviously today, but like
I mean, I'll speedrun it for you. Okay.
that fight sucks.
It does. I mean, again, like, Naughty Dog has a, I think, history of really rough final boss battles.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This moment though,
So
like
good, right?
and like already it's like surpass any of like the big action heights of Uncharted 1.
And this is where they really figure out set pieces, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah. God damn. What a what an opening.
When in doubt, climb.
Yep.
Man, it's been a long time. You were asking me before when's the last time I played Uncharted 2. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You got the
I know, I see it,
bricks
I
on
see
the
that
right
guy.
there.
Yeah.
So for me, I talk about this a bit in the video as well. So it's crazy. This collection, this remaster collection, is coming up on 10 years.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh.
October 2015. I know.
God damn.
And this was the first time I played any Uncharted, was this collection, because I didn't have a PS3. I was a 360 kid, and so I got a PS4 in like mid to late 2014, I believe. And when this came out, I don't think I got it immediately, but there was eventually a demo for it that you could play on like the PlayStation Store or something like that digitally. And the demo was of the helicopter sequence in Uncharted 2, where you're like jumping from rooftop to rooftop, being chased by that helicopter. And I was like, and at this point, like I'm a fan of y'all, and like I'm hearing y'all talk about Uncharted and stuff for months and months on end, especially with like the anticipation of Uncharted 4 coming. I played that demo and I was like, okay, I have to give this game a shot. Like I have to try this out. So I picked up the collection and fell in love. And yeah, that's like, it's weird to think of like, Uncharted was the last IP that I actually got acquainted with when it came to Naughty Dog, because yeah, I played The Last of Us first even before any of the Uncharted games.
Crazy.
Yeah. Also, what's up, chat, Twitch and YouTube? Let us know some of your favorite Uncharted memories, whether it's playing Uncharted 2 for the very first time, Uncharted 3, or any of the other Uncharted games for the very first time. Now, someone asked, Barrett, are you doing Fight for Fortune? Which one was Fight for Fortune?
Fight for Fortune was the Vita card game.
I don't believe so. 'Cause I don't think that was Naughty Dog, if I remember correctly. Maybe I have to cancel this whole video if that's a...
Guys, a critical error has been noted. Was it Bend? I think it was Sony Bend.
Fortune. Digital collectible card game. Yeah, that was Bend Studio and One Loop Games.
Greg still got it, y'all.
He still got it, everybody. And then Ben also did Golden Abyss.
Correct.
And Golden Abyss was a solid Uncharted by Ben. Was that Vita at that point?
That was, yeah, that was a Vita launch game.
That's one that I do like regret not. Like I had the Vita through the Vita
Relocation program,
and yeah, that's one that I never actually like picked up.
I'm shocked they haven't put it out on a collection, done a thing. You know, here it is on whatever version.
Yeah.
But I also think it's.
What the hell are you doing here?
I'm reading too much into it for sure, but I also think it's Naughty Dog probably being like, no. I'm Neil Druckmann and I'm making you money, money, money. Do not acknowledge that as an Uncharted game, please.
Really? The client
It's like the Batman Arkham collection where they're like, don't put Origins.
Yeah. This is our thing.
Yep.
You're not gonna like this.
Here we go, Harry Flynn, everybody. This piece of shit.
No, you're out of your mind. Yeah, you just hear me out. Flynn, we both know two people who were killed trying to lift something out of this place.
One who made it out.
Yeah, barely.
I can't do this without you, Drake. You're the only one who's cracked it, and you know better than anyone it's a two-person job.
No. 3, actually.
Right. And speak of the devil, here she comes now.
What?
Chloe Fraser.
God.
Nate.
Love Chloe.
Nathan,
The best.
Drake.
Well, I mean, she's no Elena, but she's
Harry.
great.
Chloe here's one of the best drivers in the business. She'll take good care of us.
Levi Hunt sent a super chat, says, how many Naughty Dog games wound up on your top 100 list?
Figured out.
Oof.
I'm not gonna spoil that.
Through the sewer.
I'm loving it so far.
That puts us in the courtyard. From there, we scale up the wall, run across the rooftops, and just
I'm sure
drop
for you
down
it's a
into
lot.
the exhibit hall.
I
Down to Jack X Combat Racing. Probably
yeah.
small.
I hear you ask.
I didn't.
Hold on
but
one
go
second.
ahead.
I'm just dealing with a family thing. Sorry, I'm okay.
But that's it. An oil lamp. Yeah. It's worthless. I don't get it.
Neither do we. That's why we tracked you down.
Well, it sounds like you're working for a nutcase. Some collector who's got too much time and money on his hands. And by the way, this is not
Shout out to
any of
Nolan.
it.
It is funny to me that Nolan was in 2 franchises. First one coming out in 2007, the second one coming out in 2009. First release of both of those franchises are solid, like kind of not proof of concept, but like really good.
Catch
like,
everybody off guard.
yeah, catching
what games
everybody
can
off
you kinda say?
guard, and then both of their sequels like do so much
Yeah.
to like expand upon it, and then like people think back to those second ones as like their favorite in the series.
Totally.
We
Which is
were
funny.
able to work out.
He was doing so much work back then.
He was. Not no more.
So that it should
Now
not
he's just
fall
blazing
into
the
wrong
monster
hands.
machines. That's all he
I
does.
concealed my great sorrow in the unlikeliest place. The light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
So what
Desmond
I mean was
Miles
just gibberish.
himself, yeah. He did return.
Talking
Spoilers.
about the lost fleet.
Yeah. Valhalla.
Yeah.
I know, someone want to fill me in?
Marco Polo leaves China with 600 passengers.
It's crazy how this looks.
I know.
Because it looks so dated. And I remember watching it be like, it's a movie!
Yeah.
I'm watching a movie!
18 passengers.
Even considering for the time though, it's like it's crazy of just like, especially going throughout the history, right, and playing a lot of these games so close together over the holiday break.
Loaded with the Emperor's
Going from
treasure
Jack
waiting
X
to be
to
found.
Uncharted 1, it was still one of those moments of like, fuck, what a jump! Like this is crazy, like what they are able to do right now.
Mongolian script. It must have been a gift from Kublai Khan.
They marketed it like a movie as well.
Khan shelters the
Shelters the
fate
fate
of
of
Why
the
does
13.
Barrett sound so distorted? Do I sound
Hid
weird?
something inside this
Let me know.
lamp.
Let me know, chat.
Something that pinpoints the site of the lost fleet.
So, we're dicking this guy over, right?
Damn straight.
Absolutely. You in then?
They do such a good job of like making Flynn like a good buddy at the beginning.
Yeah.
What could possibly
And giving
go
you that
wrong?
twist of like, no, he's not going to be the Sully this time around.
Yeah, but it's also the same thing. It was like, I mean, like in Uncharted 1, right, where you're like Eddie. Well, I guess he was always slimy. They never tried.
Yeah, no, you're like you meet Eddie in the prison, and he's like, "Fuck you," and like I like the implied history there of like, oh, they might have worked on a job together or something
Yeah.
like that. The graphics blew my mind at the time. I think
Oh,
it's
for
like,
sure.
is this one of the ones where like there's like snow tracking as well with the footprints and shit?
yeah.
Praying Ocelot Game says, my Uncharted rankings, number 1, Uncharted 2. Damn. Hates all the other ones so much that
My ranking is there's just one Uncharted, and it's Uncharted 2. Do you? I know you just played them, so this is the whole thing. But like, do you think back fondly in a Uncharted 4? What's the legacy of Uncharted 4? Because I feel like Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 are such a specific time period of what PlayStation was and what was happening and what they could do. And Uncharted 4, obviously a great fucking game, but I just don't think people talk about it in the same way we talk about 1, 2, and 3. You don't talk about it in the same way you talk about 1, 2, or 3, or you talk about it in the way of like, oh, it's the best. And that's just it. There's no conversation the way like, how we argue about all this other stuff.
It is interesting because it does feel like a bit of like the Uncharted series ending in a whimper is not the best, is not what I'm trying to say. But it does feel like a weird kind of like how much it's died down, especially like Uncharted 4 not even being the last Uncharted game. There was Lost Legacy as well, which people, I would say, talk about even less. But the people who did play it and remember it fondly and shit. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of legacy, I'm not entirely sure. Because I do think this was the original trilogy is definitely like a special place in time for PlayStation of them building out a new wave of IP. And it definitely felt like for Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, it was all right, these are kind of getting, not lost in the shuffle, but like, it felt like these are winding down as we find our new generation of IP. Here is Spider-Man, here is Horizon. We even already had The Last of Us come out on the previous generation, and that's gonna be the next big thing for Naughty Dog, right? And so it is interesting, and thoughts like that do make me think of like, man, what if they never do actually come back to Uncharted? Because they do feel like that is a specific time and place.
And so that's where I think the conversation gets so interesting about 4, right? Because Swaney goes a little bit where I'm going. 4 is awesome, but it feels too serious at times, IMO. And I really do think that's a part of, not that I'm saying one's better than the other, but 1, 2, and 3 being Amy's games.
Yeah.
And then 4 being Neil and Bruce, right?
Yes.
And it is like them being the modern Naughty Dog, bringing Uncharted into a very modern sense of what Naughty Dog is, but that's not what we remember Uncharted being, because we had 3 games the other way, where it was, it's a pulp adventure, he's not really getting shot, the red is his luck running out, like, all this weird shit like that, where it's like, as much as I'm like, I want to see their shitty married life, I'm sure Amy would have been like, no you don't, I want to have a weird pirate adventure.
Yeah, it is, like, I don't know if there's leaks out there or whatever happened, but like I do constantly wonder about like
what her game would have been.
What her Uncharted 4 with
Stashwick, Todd Stashwick.
But also I think Justin Richmond as well was possibly the original director for that, if I'm remembering correctly.
Totally, I can call.
Yeah, I think she was maybe supposed to be producer and like writer, and then I think someone else was directing it, if I remember correctly.
Sleeping with his shoes on the bed. Disgusting.
Yeah, what the fuck, Nate? It's weird.
Hello. Well, so much for foreplay.
You mind telling me what the hell is going on?
You mean with Flynn?
Yeah, you might have warned me.
And missed the look on your face? Anyway, you haven't exactly made
She's
yourself
also a piece of shit, but in the most lovable way.
Oh yeah. It's just a killer performance by Claudio.
Easy.
Oh, you're not jealous. Let's not forget who walks
I
out
missed
on
the
whom,
super chat, but someone
after
said,
all. You don't
weirdly,
get
I
to
think
be
about Lost
jealous.
Legacy more than Uncharted
If
4.
it makes you feel any better, my relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Really?
Mostly professional. When I figured out he was actually on to something, I thought you'd want to be in on the action.
So what's the plan?
Just like we said, we pull the heist, we find the ships, and we make off with the treasure.
With Flynn? Mm-hmm. And then?
And then we split the take 3 ways, and you and I just disappear.
Sure, Chloe.
Together, this time.
I see.
Until then, he can't know about us.
He's gonna be pissed.
He's gonna be fine. Trust me.
God damn. That's sexy, everybody.
Cooper said, I've never played a minute of an Uncharted game, which is kind of crazy. Get on it, Cooper. I think you would
What's
enjoy
your
them.
fucking problem, Cooper? Too busy playing real-time strategy games?
Damn, fucking got him.
You know what I mean? Minesweeper.
Minesweeper's where you go.
The hot PC games.
Yes, of course.
Yes, indubitably.
Minesweeper and, TurboTax. Now, going back to this for the first time in over a decade at this point, probably,
Sure.
right, Greg? Like, how do you feel about the kind of platforming, the kind of linearity of it? Yeah,
It's so quaint.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And-
Where it's
and, like, not even
everything's
compared to
bright
4.
yellow, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, I can only really go one way. But yeah, okay.
And like not even compared to 4, but like so many other games now that just like
Yeah.
have climbing and like your horizon.
I mean,
all
and
that
you know,
shit.
we joke around about it. This is a game that changed the industry, right?
Yeah.
This was when they did this and they introduced this climbing, and then everything kind of becomes that. Like, there's so many. This is such a through line to Jedi Fallen Order or whatever.
Yeah. Did Naughty Dog say they would never do an Uncharted again?
The Dagger of Shambhala.
I don't know. You would probably be more familiar if there's ever been an interview
No.
of like,
know how-
we've moved on or whatever.
No, they've never said that, and if they have, they've gone back on it. It's it's whatever. It's I think often when Neil gets interviewed, he'll say they want to work on something different or chase other ideas or whatever, or open it to a new generation. Or
Yeah.
you'll get another Uncharted. Will it be from them? I do think so, and I think that's the problem for Uncharted 4 is that it's the game between two Naughty Dogs, and I think if you take this time off, you come back with Uncharted : whatever you're calling it. It's not Nate's story. You do whatever, then it's going to be like
Yeah.
You sure you're up for
Because I do think it's like the lost legacy of it all does prove that like if you want to keep Nate's story, the end of Nate's story, and maybe not even touch like Cassie Drake and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
like there is so many characters that we get introduced throughout this entire series that you could have fun and play around with and do short 5-6 hour stories.
And as I call that, man, like
realize that, don't you?
Cassie Drake is Caitlin Dever. Caitlin Dever now in the show. They're doing an Uncharted, and it's going to be Caitlin
Want to
Dever.
make any mistakes?
Damn.
Yeah.
Take it to the bank, everybody.
Take it to the bank.
Taking it to the bank.
I guarantee.
We're here.
Shauna Skag is definitely doing the next Uncharted over there at Naughty Dog. Yeah, Shauna Skag was one of the co-directors for Lost Legacy, and is he the one who went to do Avengers?
Crystal. Yeah, I went and popped over. Yeah.
Okay.
I bumped into him at the Last of Us premiere. It was nice to see him again.
Ooh, nice.
Been a while. I like when, it's more evident on Chloe, but when it's like, we need stealth gear, so I'll just put on a black version of my outfit.
I'll wait through this. I don't fumble. I improvise.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah, I'm adaptable.
Adaptable.
You cocky bastard.
You just put the hue slider like a little
Yeah,
different
yeah,
and
yeah.
bring down like brightness
Saturation.
or whatever.
This area is going to take us right under the museum. You called it all right.
You need to have a little more faith in me, chum.
Okay, this one here is me.
All right, remember, that tower is our only way into the exhibit. But we can't even get close with those floodlights on.
We've gone over this.
Just make sure you cut the power by the time we reach the second courtyard.
The lights will be out. I'll have the van waiting at the rendezvous point. Just make sure you get your asses out of there in time.
Fair enough.
All right, enough chat. Let's do this.
Chloe. See you on the other side.
Looking forward to it.
Travis says, obvious bad guy is obvious.
Yeah.
He's so fun though. He's such a slimy piece of shit.
You sure you know where you're going?
Don't I always?
And then like even like we're doing the back and forth of like
trying
you
to find
kind of
treasure.
climbing and then are you gonna get the
I
treasure?
was saying, should I be trying to find treasure? Whose account am I even playing on right now?
This is mine. God, I've thought about like, do I ever do the whole like 100% replay every chapter, find the treasure? And I've just never been interested in that side of like playing these games because
Yeah.
I'm similar to you of like these are story games to me, so it's like playing it for the gamified kind of side of it. I've never really been interested in.
Yeah, it's a slog. I've platinumed them all, and it's the crushing difficulty on the 1 through 3 is always annoying as shit, and then it's the idea, of like Cool, now I have to have the fucking guide open next to me, which is always like such a, let's suck the fun out of any game where it's like, I gotta go, I'm gonna go IGN Wiki by IGN Wiki. All right, so don't get too far ahead of myself because I don't want to miss something and have to double back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I recently platinumed Clair Obscura Expedition 33, and there's a little bit of that where I'm like, okay, I gotta find these specific things to like get a trophy and all this stuff, and it's like, oh.
Now, what do you bet that
Takes a little bit of the wind out of my sails of just like being like in love and like immersed in a world.
Yeah.
Yeah, in like Flynn, right? What? In like Flynn. I don't get it. Just give me a boost. Here it comes. Thanks.
Pretty sure I maxed out my rank in the multiplayer beta for Uncharted 2 leading up to the release because I was so Uncharted crazy back then.
Multiplayer was fun.
I only ever played the multiplayer for Uncharted 4.
Okay.
Which was so like whatever but so chaotic, and it was just honestly like the gameplay of Uncharted 4 with like the grapple, like the hook and like all that stuff, like that stuff I found like just really charming and fun to do. So having like a multiplayer component where I can do that without like having to replay like 15 hours of a game, I was like, yeah, I'm down for this.
Yeah.
And I get to play as Cutter. Fuck yeah. Shout out to my boy Cutter.
Fucking Cutter.
I can see how a lot of Last of Us mechanics came from this in regards to Joel and Ellie helping each other get around. Oh, 100%. Yeah, like helping people get up to ladders and all that stuff. Even just like the very stereotypical, you walk into what is very obviously an arena with like boxes for cover. And all that stuff.
Yeah, I dropped it.
Remind me to tell you a story off camera about Last of Us and Uncharted.
They were originally going to have a crossover. Where Nathan Drake was going to be.
Hey man, they found the newspaper. You find the newspaper in the pub. It's happening.
All right, this is the way to the courtyard.
I remember it might have been y'all's Uncharted 4 review back in the day, where I remember for the, or maybe the spoiler cast or something, like one of y'all being like in the epilogue, being like, are they going to leave the house and like the world's going to turn and all that shit? It was like, that would have been such a bad ending for Uncharted.
And we just played right into this hellscape. See you later. Like, oh, fuck, shit. Kind of wanted you guys to be happy on a beach.
Twinny asked a great question. Like we've been talking about, you know, the 2 versus 3, even like versus 4 in Lost Legacy. But Twinny does ask, what is your favorite Uncharted?
It's a great question. Yeah, I think it's Uncharted 3. I think there's a lot wrapped up in that. Again, Uncharted 1, amazing for the time, right? This one, I think, just doesn't live up to my expectations of what I wanted the story to be. Uncharted 3, I love the history of Nate and Sully.
Yeah.
I love how they involve Catherine Marlowe in that. I love Nate and Sully's present, as they get to be father and son. And I also love then the, hey, here's how we've lapsed with Elena, and here's how we're going to get it back, and how we're going to find something in that. All that said, obviously Uncharted 4 has the best gameplay. You know, but this is where it's like, I have such crystal clear touchstone memories for Uncharted 1 through 3. But Uncharted 4 is so much more of a game I played and really enjoyed, and like I like the performances, and I the Jeep coming down in the mud and all that, but it's like, it just doesn't hit the same way, whereas like objectively Uncharted 4 is probably the best game. Yeah. But like, yeah, no.
Some would argue Lost Legacy.
Yeah, and again, Lost Legacy was another one I enjoyed, but I didn't have the same vibe from it.
Nate, no! Those are some of the best moments in Uncharted 4 where you're driving around Madagascar and they're having like conversations.
Yeah.
Just drive off a cliff. Oh, God! Yeah, Lost Legacy, what I'll say today is that, yeah, I didn't remember too much of it because, yeah, that was 2017, I want to say, yeah. And, yeah, I didn't remember too much of it. Just that, like, hell yeah, Chloe adventure, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was fun to return to that one and kind of be reminded of, like, oh, what does this game do now with a new set of directors, right?
Yeah.
Their first time directing a game for Naughty Dog, right? And so, yeah, I have a lot of positive thoughts on Lost Legacy now. And I think for me, another big gripe that I have with Uncharted 2 that we won't get to today, obviously, is the third act feels very long.
Oh yeah.
There's just like so much like nonstop action that like I get why like people are kind of drawn to it, but it constantly feels like the stakes are constantly at a 10 where I'm like eventually starts to become like numbing in a way where I'm can we like reset for like fucking 10 minutes and just kind of like I don't know. It's that's an interesting one that even today going back to I'm like, huh.
There's an alarm. That's new since last time.
Great. Now what?
Well, I can disarm it if we can find the junction.
I do love how different this one starts up from one though, right? Of like
It's gotta be around here.
Next to the water.
yeah, and but also like starting it with like a cool heist and stuff, like making the intro feel like okay, it's like a little like lower stakes than like finding a Nazi U-boat like in the middle of the Amazon or whatever, but you know, there's just something just like cool about doing a heist. You remember. You got it.
Get up there. You got it.
Because there's like a couple that fake you out, I think.
It was more of not being able to see the line. I'm like, I think that's the coordinate.
There. That ought to do it.
All right, we're in.
I'm right here. You don't have to radio me.
Shit.
CJ splits on, yeah. CJ splits on. The first time they mentioned Drake isn't really his last name is in part 3. Again, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Of like giving us this depth. Now, Nathan Drake, but we all know that really is your last name. I was like, that's fucking cool.
Joey Radstone says, remember when they made a movie?
I do.
Tom Holland. Crazy.
Never forget.
Who's Green Lantern now in the upcoming
Oh, the guy from Friday Night Lights?
Yes.
Oh, you mean Nathan Fillion from Guy Gardner and Superman.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
I've jumped to Lanterns, the upcoming show.
Gotcha.
I'm excited about Lanterns as well.
Yeah, remember we were all like, yeah, Nathan Fillion should be Nathan Drake. Yeah. And then he was.
He did.
That, like,
they did like a fan film where he was, and it was fun.
Get to the roof from here.
That was crazy.
We're gonna have to make our way to the next courtyard. Through that gate over there.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't strike while the iron was hot for like adapting Uncharted into a movie. But it was also
It's
like
crazy
the
as
landscape
it sounds.
was so different.
Different world, man.
Yeah.
A different world for that.
Because yeah, Fillion would have been the perfect fit, especially for like where he was at in his career.
With
around
nerds
that
like
time.
us, coming off of Firefly. Ooh. I won't kill you. I'll just fucking give you very, very bad brain damage. Jesus. Just right on the temple onto this stone thing. See ya.
The Uncharted movie should have been Nathan Fillion and Bruce Campbell.
That's an old team up movie, yeah. They were trying to get the kids to come watch it, though, you know?
Gece vardiyasında çalışmaktan nefret ediyorum. Haklısın abi. Hiçbir şey olmuyor. Bazen o kadar canım sıkılıyor ki uyanık kalmakta zorluk çekiyorum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what a quaint little self is. You don't need to fucking die!
Knock him out!
Sweet dreams.
You got it, Flynn?
Nathan Drake top 5 characters for PlayStation.
Yes.
Yeah, I would
The
say
Mount
so.
Rushmore, it's Kratos, it's him. Jack and Daxter together. And I'm composing at the keyboard as I go here. I reserve the right to change. I'd say Astrobot now. A place that would have belonged to Sackboy. I think you put Astrobot on there now as an up-and-comer.
You go left.
That's tough. That's tough. Of like, you can only get 4, right?
I mean, we can put as many as you want on there, but yeah.
But it's the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
We're doing 4.
Okay. I apologize.
Very strict
Sorry,
rules when
sorry.
you're doing Mount Rushmore. Uh-oh.
I ain't afraid of him. You better be afraid of me.
Got some of like the movement animations as well for like NPCs and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, it gives off like a little bit of like PS2 era.
Sure.
Like idle animations for just like random enemies and shit.
CJ says that burning clown head is definitely there. You mean Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal? And I would say no. Like that's, I mean, we're talking about, let's talk about people who have made an impact across several generations.
Yeah.
You can make an argument for PS1 to 2, I guess, but no.
Yeah, if you're doing a Mount Rushmore of PlayStation 1, I would see a clear argument for Sweet Tooth, but PlayStation as a whole, like, obviously Kratos. Ah! I think Astrobot is a strong... Jesus!
I'm at Nathan Drake and I'm on cocaine!
Oh, God.
Ah! Saw a treasure back here.
Yeah, get that treasure. I don't think I've ever gotten that one before.
There you go, you're lucky. Oh, Ellie and Joel. Yeah, Ellie over Joel.
I don't know if you put Nathan on there.
Am I being too classic, you think?
Because I think you make a good argument of like throughout the generations, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Nate is not. It's like very PS3, PS4 specific, but like we haven't seen anything from Nate in a decade, almost at this point, right? And so it's like he was very important for a specific time. I don't know. I'm back and forth on. I'm going back and forth.
It gets sticky when you go, okay, well, is the Naughty Dog representative Nate, or is it going to be Joel/Ellie, one of them? And then you talk about the cultural impact of The Last of Us right now, right?
Yeah.
The way the show's going.
Oh, and then damn, good eye.
People are saying Snake. You know how much I love Metal Gear, but Metal Gear is a Konami Hall of Fame. My Metal Gear, don't get me wrong, PlayStation 1, Metal Gear Solid changed my life. I get it, and I'm with you, but I just think that Snake belongs to Konami now in a way that isn't.
Again, PS1, if you're doing PS1 specific, I could see Sweet Tooth, Crash Bandicoot, Snake, and Cloud. I think that's like, if you're doing a Mount Rushmore for PlayStation 1 games, right? Yeah, for PlayStation as a whole, it's tough. Aloy.
You know PlayStation would push for it.
Yep. Yeah, I think you go Kratos, Ellie, Ratchet and Clank together.
Yeah.
Like Clank on Ratchet's back. And then nowadays, Astro. Aloy holding a can of Sprite. Aloy drinks Sprite.
Linky Dragon, Herman Holst will put Aloy 4 times. Man, the fucking Horizon 3. That's a game we're gonna get.
Not so fast.
Yeah,
eventually.
And it's gonna be about the people from space.
Yeah.
You want to get this
But they're originally from the planet, and then they left. It's like it's a whole Planet of the Apes situation. Yeah, what a bizarre way to end the second game.
Everything you did here didn't really matter.
I think you go up the.
Back where I was up there, right, and then
No,
across
actually,
the thing. No.
I think you can just go up on the door itself, the grate, and climb up there, and then go left or right that way. I believe.
No, you're right. Yeah, there's the yellow up there.
Yeah, there you go.
Kids played it before, recently.
Which is crazy to think. Like that was 6 months ago, which is insane. That like. It's already, it feels like it's been forever, and it was also yesterday in terms of making this video.
Yeah.
There was just like a month, Cool Greg was just making a joke because Roger was in Station 5, Area 69 for those unfamiliar. And he was doing some video stuff in there, and Cool Greg joked, he's like, hey, no, that's Barrett's room. Because I just lived in, that's where I edited that video, and I was just in there every day for a month, like 3 to 5 hours a day just editing.
easy.
Spider-Man would be if Sony owned him. Yeah. He would be up there, for sure.
All right, we gotta cross this courtyard to get onto the roof.
How dare you? How dare you?
I had pizza at Costco. I'm tight.
You had Costco pizza today.
Dude, I really wanted it. And I was like, I don't want my chicken. And I was like, well, if I go to Costco and I buy a different chicken for tomorrow, I get a piece of pizza today.
Yeah, exactly. There you
I
go.
can reward myself for doing the work tomorrow.
Damn. Oh yeah, you remember. Gotta look at those reflections. Who needs ray tracing?
Not
you know,
me. Not me.
who's tracing those rays? Who cares? We had it just fine enough back in the PS3. Hell yeah, you got me above Mr. Fendi for total enemies defeated.
Mr. Fendi, you suck.
Slaying fast and loose today, Miller.
I was born in these streets.
There you go, Flynn.
Now we just gotta find a way up to that window.
Which window? There's a lot of bloody windows.
Langley says, still wondering if they'll kill off Silence or recast him. Of course, that was the late, great Lance Reddick. I could have sworn they said they were going to recast. Yeah, didn't they maybe do it in the Lego game? I thought there was something already about that where they did something with that.
Yeah, I forget.
But they've definitely
They did
said he's
recast for
staying.
Lego.
Okay, good. I still got it.
Crap. Now what?
It's time to tell
They recast him for Lego game. Toby Blue on a delay. Zero chance they'll recast. Too much respect.
Relax, Gandhi. They're tranquilizer guns, totally non-lethal. Your conscience will remain unscathed.
Oh, well, good idea.
Great. Okay, a little bit of advice. These things have lousy range, so we still have to get in close.
He has such an iconic voice, though. That's really tough. I understand that.
Know how to shoot a gun, genius.
All right, let's take these guys out.
Bu kutulara bizim taşımamızı beklemiyorlar umarım. Bu bizim görevimiz değil ki.
Bunlar ne ki zaten?
Eski sergiden kalan eşyalar.
Neo Aoshi says, love that he cares about the murder here.
Well, these guys aren't.
Well, let's see,
you know,
like 3 hours later.
They aren't the crazy pirates he's trying to kill.
Yeah.
All right? These are just security guards.
Yeah, let's be fair. The people he, massacres later are all working under a war criminal. Ah,
Boo!
All right, let's take these guys out.
Bana çer çöp gibi geldi daha çok.
did I already miss a chat about ludonarrative dissonance? No, we didn't really talk about ludonarrative dissonance. Maybe we'll talk about it on Friday. You might be too far.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
says like they have a really bad range. CJ Splitson says Metal Gear Solid 4 made me get a PS3.
Metal Gear.
Yeah, I never ended up getting a PS3. My good friend Annie in high school, she was the one who had the PS3 out of like our friend group. So if there was anything like we really wanted to play like on a PlayStation, we would just go to her house.
It's Little Orphan Annie.
Yep.
I would have said it every
and
time I
she-
saw her.
And I do remember her owning Uncharted 1, and like none of us like opened it or like were ever interested in playing it.
Give me a hand, will you? Okay, for something with wheels.
do you keep in touch with Annie?
Still live close to her and her family, which is
Dope.
kind of crazy. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one you like Christmas you go over to, or you went over to that one time?
Yeah. Annie's family is where I would stay because eventually I would live in the East Bay, but I still went to school here in San Francisco for senior year. And being in drama club, we would always have like tech rehearsals on like Friday nights and like Saturdays and shit. So
Yeah.
I would stay over at their place a lot in senior year of high school, so I wouldn't have to do that like crazy drive back and forth for some of those things. So. I owe that family a lot, and still keep in touch with them. Annie still also lives in the same neighborhood as well, so run into her and her pup all the time, and yeah.
Shout out to Kelsey with 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Yeah, Annie was like the gamer friend that I had, and one of my first friends in San Francisco actually, and it was like right.
Like I know what I was supposed to do, but I was like, can I jump on him too? Instead, just fucking falls dead next to him.
It was right around the time where I met Annie, where it was also like Arkham Asylum was coming out, and I've talked about like in my Arkham videos of like Arkham Asylum was the game that got me back into like actually like paying attention to video games and like keeping up with them as like a medium for art. And then Annie, who had been playing games for the longest time, was like, "Oh, like let me show you all these different games." Like Annie was the one who got me to play Journey and like all that shit. So, yeah. Barrett's Addison.
Yep.
No. Because to me, Blessing's Addison. Addison is like kind of that like late elementary, middle school type of era.
Yeah.
And I do have an Addison. His name was Tommy.
And he was big into games too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had like all of the the way Blessing talks about Addison in terms of like the different games he had and stuff at his place. I was like, oh yeah, that was Tommy for me, who like lived a block away from me back in Ohio. And we would hang out all the time, and I got to play like the cooler video games at his house because my mom knew what Grand Theft Auto was, so I can play that at home.
Take the elevator next time.
Ooh. I was about to ask you, do you have an Addison? But I feel like you were the Addison.
I was the big. I don't. Growing up, I mean, like, no, I was the Addison. In high school, you know, I found people who were obsessed with video games the way I was, with Mike and Jason and all them, and that's, you know, like they convinced me to get the N64 and all that jazz. But no, I was always I had everything. Yeah, I remember my mom bringing home a friend from work and her kid. And like he flipped the fuck out at my Sega Genesis collection. And it's like it wasn't even that I was collecting. I wasn't even thinking that, you know what I mean? But he had never seen that many video games together because I had like a little like VHS closet, not, you know, like the size of a mini fridge probably.
Right,
opened up, and so like maybe there was a dozen in there, maybe a little bit more, but it was like just I never thought that was out of the ordinary because it was like the only hobby I care like comics too.
Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I think about that with like going over to friends' place. What's like the biggest memory you have of going to someone else's place and like just being fascinated by a collection they had, not just video games, but just anything where you're like, holy shit, this is so cool, or like being mind blown by that? Because
so my cousins, Chuck and Mike, they always had the coolest toys.
Ooh,
like they were the first ones that had like the Nerf bone arrows, and like they were like had the parents who were just like, whatever, just spending. And they also were big on NES kids. So like I'll never forget that, you know, we weren't blood cousins, right? And so we didn't come over that often, but when we did, they had a pool, so that was awesome, young up.
Gotcha.
So it was like summers where I always had these great memories, but it was like, I remember one time coming over and Chuck was leaving, and he was like, Mike was like, but Greg's here, like we should hang out. And he's like, he held up the gold cartridge for NES, and it was that for Zelda, and he was like, his next door neighbor had just gotten Game Genie. And he's like, don't you want to see this game beaten? That's what he said. And he walked out with it. I was like, damn. I was like, I gotta respect the hustle. Yeah, I don't know anything about that game, but I'd want to see it beaten too.
That's funny. Yeah, our same friend group with Annie and myself, our friend Vinny, him and his family like actually kept their VHSs throughout the years. So like nice. Even in high school, and like this was during the time of Disney where it's like they had the vault and all this
it's
stuff.
Going
so, like,
back in the vault.
He had all of like the VHSs that we like lost throughout the years and stuff. And so, you know, he had like the Brave Little Toaster and you know, extremely goofy movie and all this shit. So you know, there'd be a bunch of times where we go over to Vinny's house and partake in activities and watch really old childhood movies of ours just completely
inebriated.
Yeah.
No, that for us with that it was Mike Boylan. Mike Boylan's dad was the only person I knew that I'd ever heard of that had you could play the VHS and tape the VHS. And it might have even been Beta. But Betamax.
Betamax.
But it was like his dad would go to Video Villa with us and get VHS tapes to watch, but he would copy them all. So he had just this lot. He had everything you could ever imagine down there. And it was like whatever you wanted to watch, he had ready to go. And then that story leads to when he showed us Time Cop, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, shit.
And of course, like, it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme action movie. This is just such a great encapsulation of America, where he's just like fucking killing people in this movie, right? But there's a sex scene as well.
Yep.
And the dad forgot about it. And he didn't have any problem with us as, I don't know, 5th graders watching all this violence. But when the sex scene started, he's like, oh, I forgot this was in there. I got up and held an Afghan in front of the TV. And I was like, this is some weird fucking shit right now. I was like, in the moment, I'm like, this is a definitive, I will never forget how stupid you are for doing this, Mr. Boylan. Like, this is a weird, I'm not supposed to jump there. No.
Yeah, this is where you came from.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling my stories about Mike. I'm getting all caught up. Here we go.
Oh, man. Yeah, stuff like that. And then, like, also, a weird side tangent of, like, you grew up doing the Pledge of Allegiance and all that stuff, yeah. It was one of those fascinating, like, I would have to ask Tim, because it was one of those questions, or, like, when I moved here to San Francisco, that was something we didn't do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is this something that stops at high school, or is it, oh man, I think you're really going back.
Did I go all the way
Yeah,
back?
you're going like all the way
I'm
back.
just talking, just chopping it up, having a great time.
I remember that being a moment of like kind of reflecting back and like, oh yeah, huh, that was something we did every morning.
Yeah. And it's like, it's another, for all our international viewers, like it's just something that happens here and you don't think about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember, marrying a Canadian, many things are brought to your attention.
Yeah, and then you're like, whoa.
Oh, that's
And then you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they do the same thing in the Fire Nation in season 3, and you're in 8th grade, and you're like, wait, what?
Just us in North Korea doing the pledge. Great, that's where I want to be. It was the same thing too. This is way darker, but when Jen had moved here, and it was during her 9 months of forced unemployment.
Right.
And I came home one day, and it was whichever school shooting had happened.
Yeah.
And she was crying on the TV, she was watching TV crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, it took me like, I wouldn't be like, oh, this doesn't happen
isn't
where
normal.
This doesn't happen where you're from. She's like, no, this doesn't happen anywhere but here. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yep.
Luckily, our new president's on top of it. Don't worry.
Nearly there.
Yeah, but why?
Change speeds to go back to Brave Little Toaster. Yeah, one of my
To get us out of this.
transitions are cool. One of my favorite memories in high school is us being fucking blitzed out of our minds watching Brave Little Toaster at Vinny's house. And us not remembering like how fucking scary and weird that movie gets in like the first like 15 minutes, and we're all just like tripping really hard, being like, fuck, this is ruining the vibe. This is so weird.
Kids movies back then, man, they didn't pull.
Yeah,
She's
no.
lit up like that. What the hell's she doing?
Come on,
Come on, Chloe.
That's my girl.
Stonewall Craft says my wife teaches in Texas, and they have a Texas pledge as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I gotta hear the Texas pledge. We gotta find the Texas pledge.
We will hear about the Texas Pledge right after a word from our sponsor.
This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or simply return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team are always there to have your back with personal and fast support. Y'all know I've been outside a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, go to shadyrays.com, use code FUNNY to get 35% off polarized sunglasses.
Alrighty, Greg, hit me with it. What is the Texas Pledge?
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. It's not even like Original.
That's it?
It's not even original.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Damn, that's crazy.
Texas requires public school students to recite both the U.S. Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance once each school day with a moment of silence to follow.
A moment of silence. Remember the Alamo?
For Matthew McConaughey.
Let's see. California love. I think Tim's out there. I'm gonna ask him really quick.
All right.
We clear.
This is Naughty Dog Week and also getting to the bottom of the Pledge of Allegiance. Hold on.
We're going to solve some problems here today.
Ladies first.
Cute.
Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and there's the acoustic alarm. Until we get this case unlocked, that thing's gonna go off if we so much as touch this glass.
No worries, mate. Voila.
All right.
Hillary says, I got 100% in Uncharted 2 and 3 trophies, including online ones. It was hell. But didn't the
guess there's
online
only one way to
ones...
find out.
Oh, but you 100%, and you're not even talking about Platinum. There you go.
Sorry,
Yep, I
Marco.
see where you're at. That is, yeah. Platinum did, where it was just like, try a thing, but then they had the DLC trophies that were like, yeah, you're really fucking insane about it.
DLC trophies, Jesus.
It was nice to add more stuff to do.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I don't want to like do 1,000 propane shots or fucking.
That's the understatement of the year.
Tell that to Hank Hill.
This is it.
God damn it, Bobby.
Useless.
I'm okay, Dad.
Looking forward to that reboot.
Yeah.
That's one I'll watch 15 minutes of episode 1 and never come back to. But I'm like, I'd love to check in on these idiots.
I never watched the Beavis and Butthead revival where they're like old and shit now, but like, I don't know. I really love. Remind me of the creator's name.
Mike Judd.
Mike Judd. Like I really enjoy
Judge?
his Judge. I think
Yeah.
His humor, like Office Space and like all that shit.
Yeah.
And like it was one of those like.
Our ships were
I could
driven
never
by
say
great
that I
flood tide
liked
into the wilds
King of the
of
Hill
Java.
as a kid,
they were hit by a
but it was never when it was on. It was something that like
It
I
was
would never.
inoffensive. It was inoffensive. You'd leave it on. You were interested, but yeah, it wasn't like you were
you didn't
kidding.
quite get it as a kid.
Yeah.
And then like watching a bit more in high school, where it's like the one where he meets George Bush and he's got a weak handshake and all that shit, and you're like you're starting to come to like, oh, this is actually really fucking funny, smart commentary,
Yeah.
and so that's one where like him going back to that, I'm fascinated.
Yeah,
by
I see what the modern version.
Yeah, 2025.
Shambhala. Oh my God, Flynn. What? Marco Polo found Shambhala. Shangri-La.
You're joking.
Got a report from Tim.
Okay.
In elementary school, they did do the Pledge of Allegiance every day.
Okay.
In middle school, they did it once a year, it sounds like, at like the beginning of the year to like
Okay.
start it off,
Okay.
and then high school was, no.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I didn't do it in high school ever, to my knowledge. I don't remember. But I can't remember. I must have done
Sorry, mate.
when it stopped in grade, junior high, whatever.
Wait, Flynn, we had a plan.
No, you had a plan. Turns out I've got
Oh
one.
no.
Come on, throw me the rope. Don't be stupid.
Oh, yeah, right. You're the mastermind. Only you overlooked one little detail. Didn't you, partner?
Dale Gribble was 100% at January 6th. Oh no.
I just need you out of the way for a little while. You think I didn't know about the ships from the beginning? Any schoolboy could have figured that
Yeah,
out.
come on, Nate.
Flynn.
Fucking dumbass.
Face it, genius.
There are some times where it's like, come on, Nate. Remember the pirate in Uncharted 3 that he was like, I have Sully and I'm gonna kill him. It's like, come on, Nate, don't fall for that shit. What are we doing here?
No hard feelings, yeah?
Who could have thought he was the bad guy? How did we not see this coming? God, the dodging of the lasers still like fucking infuriates me in this game.
So silly.
It's just like it doesn't feel quite right. And especially like here in the beginning where they first introduce you to the laser sight, and it's like 15 of them on you at once. You're like, all right, come on, what are we doing? You gotta go through the window.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, downstairs.
I mean, it looks like it's working out for you pretty well so far. You know,
You're just going back to where you came from, Greg.
they wouldn't build a level like that.
They're all just standing there.
They're not used to these.
God. Video games. We were gaming back then.
War games. Is that not the window you're talking about?
This one right here.
Okay. Back down like a turtle. Oof.
Oh yeah.
Both
That's-
knees
that,
gone.
yeah, that's
both knees gone.
This way.
That's King Boo to you. Subscribing with Prime says big love, homies. Thank you so much. That's King Boo to you. Subscribe for 99 months. Just 1 month.
99
100.
bottles of beer.
Gotta get to that ladder.
Blaster Goblin says this game goes so hard. I bought a PS3 3 years into the PS4 generation just to play Uncharted. Blaster Goblin, when did the PS4 come out? 2013? 2014?
Yeah, right around there, yeah.
You had the Nathan Drake collection, Blaster Goblin, of Tony Hawk's speedrun fame.
You overlooked one little detail.
Which one did they speedrun?
I don't know. The shirt's cool though.
Yeah.
American Wasteland. It was the one with it had the pink and the. Okay.
This is so good.
Jackass, you're ruining the show here.
Ah, what a shame.
Sully!
I really can't leave you alone for a minute.
Laser-sighted pistols have no chance against a Drake somersault.
What do I do?
Just great.
So, had to grease a few palms. Did go through the rest of your money.
Maybe Blaster Goblin didn't have a PS4, so they were just dedicated to getting. And I get that. I imagine the PS3 must have been so cheap at that point.
Hey, how'd you find me?
Well, a friend of yours asked for my help.
Now she has a different colored shirt.
My God.
Oh, wait a second.
Sully, kick her out and shut the door. We're safer in here.
Just wait a goddamn minute. Hear her out.
Thank you, Victor.
Hey, no offense, Sully.
Cooper asks, so wait, is Sully Mark Wahlberg? Mark Wahlberg plays Sully in the movie.
Hey, Nate.
God.
What's going on?
Oh,
How you
no,
doing?
it's not that bad.
I'm Marky Mark.
Bucket. Last cell I was in, 8 of us had to share.
Listen, Nate.
You know something? I really appreciate you dropping by, but if you and Flynn hadn't screwed me over in the first
Now,
place,
wait a
I wouldn't have
minute.
been rotting in this shithole for the
Listen,
last 3
Nate.
months. So excuse me if I'm not just, leaping into your arms.
I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Damn.
I told you. He's not going to listen to me.
Screw this. Nate, they found the ships.
The age difference is something, but isn't the whole thing with Uncharted the
How do you
movie
know
is
about
like
that?
Do you really think Flynn
they're
figured that out on his
it's
own?
supposed to be like pre-Uncharted 1 or something like that, but then it's also like
I mean, it's his own universe.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Because Tom
So,
Holland
yeah.
is also,
Was our
I would say, definitely looks much younger than.
Oh yeah,
Drake.
1000%.
All right then.
Victor Goddamn Sullivan, exactly. Say his full name, please.
Oh
Get us out of that dig
goddamn
site.
Dorado.
We're gonna snatch that treasure right out from under them.
You'll never see it coming.
Yeah, well, payback's a bitch.
The whole thing is that they don't have chemistry or like each other.
Look.
What, in
they
the
call it
movie?
wish
That's their whole
fulfilling
thing?
jewel. It's a sacred object.
What, like a Buddhist holy grail?
Exactly.
Thanks.
Sully, listen
Apparently
to this.
Tom and Mark hate each other.
In
Damn.
the kingdom of
I
Shambhala
hate
lies
to
the
hear
most
it.
precious
I hate
thing
to
to be
see it.
found
Who would have
in
thought
all
that
the world.
Mark Wahlberg's hard to work
Raw
with?
sapphire of the
If
deepest
only we had
blue,
heard all that,
larger around than the
or
reach
remembered
of
the
a
hate
hand's
crime
arms.
that he perpetrated, but no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Let's put him in 10 more
And you think
Transformers
there's more of
movies.
this?
Yeah, it's straightforward.
Loads more. Lazarovich paid top dollar for Marco Polo's journals. He's been after the Chintamani stone for years.
Well, if he's been counting on Flynn to find it for him, it's no wonder he hasn't had any luck.
If I
Lemon
can get a
Bendy
look at
asks, hate
Lazarovich's
crime?
file,
See?
I can find
They don't
that
want you to
stone.
remember it,
Hang on a
but it
minute.
happened.
That's
Look it
easier
up.
said than done. The files are in
Recast
his
Sully
tent,
as
and his
Zendaya
tent
for the
is in the middle of the camp.
Now we got a picture.
Now we got something to
Armed
go.
compound. There are soldiers everywhere.
Well, that's why it has to be an inside job. From someone they know and trust.
Oh. Okay, I see where this is going.
Just need a diversion. You give me 5 minutes.
I like
that's
you can
all it'll
tell what
take.
they're doing
Really?
with
5
Chloe's hair of
minutes?
like her having like
Well,
the
that's
the
great.
drip
I wouldn't
down,
even have to
but
go
because it's like the PS3, like they still can't quite figure out hair, so it just kind of looks like a weird like goop.
But like we were all like, it's moving. Like, she moves her head, it moves. That's insane.
Physics.
Oh, yes, I was in before you were.
I was in before you were, and then I'm gonna bail on you in an hour, and then barely be in the rest of the
Oh,
game.
man, don't be mean to him.
Come on. It's upsetting.
Chloe, you reading us?
Now we're back in the forest. You gotta get a good jungle. for an Uncharted game.
You got to. And Borneo is a great jungle. I'm gonna run a peek.
Oh yeah.
You wanna play?
Yeah. I'll play a little bit.
The first one should be right ahead.
Right ahead. God, it's been so long.
But still so soon.
We're priming explosions as distractions for Lazarevich.
There we are. All right. First one set. Don't touch the button.
This one?
Yeah, why are people confusing Mark and Tom from Blink-182? Why would you, when you score the person?
Just hit the detonator and
I'm lost on chat. Sorry, I was trying to catch up with y'all, but y'all are having your own conversations.
Just be careful. Lazarevich has got his men posted all around the perimeter.
It's okay. We'll beat them up, Chloe. Don't worry. I think there might be a treasure over here. Also might have saved. Oh no, this. Oh, that's a confusing leak. Yeah, we talked about the fan film earlier, chat, YouTube chat, with the Nathan Fillion. I remember I was at IGN when that happened. I forget what year that was, but yeah, that was like a fun little thing. How does this look so great? I know. The cell processor, everybody.
Like a hooker in church.
You brought a hooker to church?
Why not?
God damn it, Sully. Gotta be sneaky.
Hey, careful. Up ahead.
Don't let him spot you.
Let's take these guys out. Quietly.
Right next to Sully. You can just. Oh shit. Is there like a way to crouch? I forget. Is that a thing? Is that a button? Or does he just automatically do it? Langley says, I usually hate fan films, but I dug that one. There we go. Other guy's over here. Maybe Sully took care of him. Sully, where you at, dude? Come on, man. I can't have Flynn being the more reliable companion. Jesus. I have officially overtaken Trevor Starkey in enemies for hand-to-hand combat in the Uncharted multiplayer. I overtook Trevor Starkey in hand-to-hand combat.
Fuck you, Trevor! Fuck you, Trevor! You still talk to him?
I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I know him and Cameron Revsy Abbott in the chat. They're still doing their show together, I believe.
I haven't heard about them in a long time.
That nerdy site, I believe, is what it's called. Knocked out dude in river will be fine. Yeah, like he's not gonna drown or anything being knocked out.
It didn't happen this time, but I remember my original playthrough, yeah, in the stealth section in the museum or whatever, I got in that fountain and choked the guy out, and then he fell face down in the water. And I was like, that's that, yeah.
So it reminds me of a recent, this was probably a few years ago, maybe when the PS5 launched, and I replayed Spider-Man 1, and there's that, those like little like quick missions where you do and like you help someone out like of a burning car or whatever.
Yeah.
But like they kind of like ramp up the more you do it, and you know, eventually it's like, okay, you have to like fight off these dudes and then help someone escape from like a burning truck or something. And I had like Spidey webs one of the dudes to the truck, and then you do the cutscene where you save the person, but then the car explodes. So it's like, oh, Spider-Man just like killed somebody here. That's crazy.
Boop.
I need that feedback. I like the red like hit feedback for like headshots and stuff. I need it in my life. Oh, you might have a second wave here. Now this was something I wasn't expecting. Like this was such an interesting
Looks like we can swing across there.
thing to go to Uncharted after playing The Last of Us. Because I didn't play the Uncharted games before playing The Last of Us, so it was like the kind of formulaic like wave-based stuff I like wasn't expecting as much.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had like my expectations tempered in terms of like okay, it's not like
Product of the time.
Yeah,
okay.
but also in terms of like collecting resources and stuff. Like I knew like that was going to be different and all that stuff. But yeah, kind of like, all right, you've finished like killing one wave of like 10 enemies. All right, now they're coming in from a different side, and you're gonna use the same place. Like, oh man, all right.
Fuck it.
The world record is for Tony Hawk's Shred. Never forget. We won't
There it is,
ever
there it
forget
is.
Blaster Goblin, except for that one time that we did.
We just immediately forgot. But from here on out, we won't forget.
From here on out, Tony Hawk's Shred. Who can forget?
Fuck your shoulder. And this guy just fucking. I hear the shots. I'm not gonna move.
Swaney is excited for Death Stranding next week.
Oh, who is?
Speaking of Death Stranding, tomorrow, Gamescast.
Yes.
It is Roger Picorni interviewing the one, the only Caroline Polachek. Just announced this morning. That was something we got to record a couple of weeks ago at this point, and that was that's an interview y'all are gonna want to watch. I got to direct that one, and that was just such a fun, great discussion between those two. And so, yes, I highly recommend checking that out. If you don't know, obviously, Caroline Polachek is the artist that Roger gave Kojima an album of hers to Kojima. And now she is doing the title song for Death Stranding 2. And so, yeah.
Tastemaker Roger Picorni.
The tastemaker. The game changer.
Game changer, tastemaker. Kojima.
If he doesn't have a credit in Death Stranding 2, I'm gonna be personally. I know he won't.
I know.
Here's the camp. You ready for this? Let's do it.
Just like in the special things, you know, where they
Yeah,
put like,
no,
here's all of our
totally.
friends, you know.
That's right.
Fingers.
Oh God, he's gonna find you, Greg. Oh, he got you. Oh no,
He didn't get shit.
he didn't get shit.
Snap your fingers, snap your neck.
Freeze!
All right, Greg, you got to be cool. Be cool here.
Okay.
R in the chat says, Barrett, have you ever put an orange into Kind of Funny Games Daily? So you can say, aren't you glad I didn't put banana? That is great.
That's really good.
Do not fucking tell Blessing
Chat
or
be
Tim
cool,
about
chat
that.
be cool, chat
Be
be
cool about that. Greg, you be cool about it too.
I would-
Because we never slip it in. For
This
you.
is definitely something where I'll forget it. So don't worry about it. This is gonna be very much like when I forgot about my own bits of, oh, I got this guy here, he bought
God.
tequila under my desk. I should do something with that shit. Fuck this steroid idea.
It's crazy that you had that under your desk for months.
I'm always planning. I'm always scheming. How can I make the shows better at Tim's expense? That's what I'm saying.
Also, we know Bless doesn't watch these streams, so we good. Yeah,
Of course.
get the annoying orange gift ready. God,
That was the thing?
Yeah, that was that came around. I feel like around the time when my little sister Alana like really started coming into her own of just like watching random shit.
Sure.
So that was that and like Fred. God, remember Fred?
I don't remember Fred.
Fred was I feel like also that kind of similar era.
Just get for Nate. Nate, I want you to stick to this side of the box, please. I'm rusty. I need your help.
You got the shotgun guy coming up on you.
Shotty Bugatti.
Don't you guys have the streams playing in the studio? Blessing probably just ignores it though. We will put like streams. We're not like good about doing it every day, but like we do have TVs in the common areas.
Audio's rarely up though.
Yeah.
It's more like so you can see if it's working, if they're almost done, if they need help.
Yeah.
Audio would be maddening. I do
Yeah.
not need to hear them sing the Dune song.
Fred was the first YouTube channel to hit 1 million subscribers. I remember that. That's crazy. Yeah, Fred. And that was also around the time of like Happy Tree Friends and shit. Did I ever tell you that story where you know, this is also in high school where, you know, I'm hanging out in the, this is probably like junior, senior year where again, living in the East Bay, but hanging out in the city a lot because I'm going to school here and all that stuff. So I'm not spending as much time at home. And there was one day where I finally, like I come home, I'm hanging out for the weekend, not hanging out with friends or anything. And I noticed on like this is like early Netflix streaming, there's not a lot on Netflix, right? So it's very easy to see like what you've been watching and all that stuff. And I noticed one of our recently watched, because this might have been before Profiles on Netflix, which is, insane. There was Happy Tree Friends recently watched. And if you don't know Happy Tree Friends, these cute little forest creatures who eventually all happenstancely kill each other in very gruesome ways throughout the episode. Oh yeah, you gotta find your bombs and prime them. And I go to my mom, I'm like, hey, are you watching Happy Tree Friends? She's like, no, Alana's been watching this. And keep in mind, like my sister and I are 11 years apart. So I'm in high school, so she's like 6 or something. And I become horrified. And then I explain to my mom what Happy Tree Friends is. And I actually have her watch a full episode because she'll just start an episode or whatever and then walk away or whatever because it starts out off cute and fine. And like to see my mom become horrified to realize what Happy Tree Friends is and what she's been letting my sister watch for like weeks at this point.
Hilarious.
Oh, man. The show Heroes was all over early Netflix stuff. You know what really carried early Netflix was that 70s show. I remember that was
really?
Oh yeah, because I remember that being a huge point in that 70s show possibly being taken off of Netflix.
Oh.
And this was like 2011, 2012. And like there was an uproar of like, you can't take this show off of Netflix. And like that's when like Breaking Bad was also like a big thing those early days of Netflix where it was actually easy to find new and creative content.
Yeah, my Netflix touchstone would always be
there it is.
College. Me and my friend Hayes split a subscription when it was still only discs, so we could watch The West Wing. So we get the thing and we trade the discs back and forth, and
Okay, that's all of them. Now let's go pay Mr. Lazarovich.
Yeah, Lazarovich.
Alex says, "Oh, you're a narc, dude." My sister was 6. I don't know if I like.
Can't reach us. Come on over here, I'll give you a boost.
Even in high
Narc
school, I
as
was
much
like,
as you
I
were
don't
trying
know
to
what this
protect
is
somebody.
doing to her brain, man.
Got a great ass, Sully.
Thanks. There you go, kid.
A lot of ass commenting from Nate in this game. I'm just gonna.
But I mean, the one with Chloe's so great. It's a shame you got to sit on something that pretty or whatever. You know what I mean? And I remember, it's obviously chauvinist and male-dominated world. So somebody broke that out in like the last couple years. It's like, and it's like he's in a relationship or at least a fuck buddy. Like they're having sex. You're justified in this sense to be like, what a nice ass, like nice keisters, I would say. Get up there. What's up there? I want to see the treasures. Bear, there's no treasure up here.
No treasure. It's fucked up.
You gotta be careful. You gotta check for it. Now you just dance. Game of the year. Game of the year.
So yeah, this comes out 2009, right?
Sure.
And what else was coming? Was this also Mass Effect? Like, what were the big hitters in 2009?
Yeah, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But more importantly, hold on. I want to check something. Show you something here.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 2, Arkham Asylum, Modern Warfare 2. That's a big one. First Borderlands. That's crazy. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Who could forget? Actually, weirdly solid game for a terrible movie. Beatles Rock Band. That's game of the year.
Was it really 2009?
For Uncharted 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. October 13th, 2009. Mass Effect 1 was 2006-07, I believe. AC2 was the big competition that year. Gotcha.
Hold on. I swear I'm going somewhere with this. IGN, Uncharted 2.
Man, what was I playing in 2009? Because I didn't play Uncharted until the collection. Yeah, same as well. And yeah, 2009, I'm slowly getting back integrated into, like, regularly playing video games. Like Arkham Asylum comes out, that like kind of reawakens me to, oh, this is what video games can be, because there was a good few years where I was just like kind of really tuned down and only playing like Rock Band and Tony Hawk and shit. So yeah, I didn't like fully get in, like I didn't play AC until like Brotherhood and shit was like already out.
Got it. All right, October 2009. I'm 26.
Okay.
All right, I'm here. I'm living the dream in San Francisco, getting paid jack shit.
I am 14, going to high school.
Love it. To report on the news or whatever. On October 5th, 2009, I went to the Uncharted 2 theater event. They did a thing, and here's my opener. Last night, the world was changed. It wasn't a war. It wasn't a scientific breakthrough. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves was shown on theater screens in San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Okay, maybe it didn't change the world, but the Sony-led event was pretty cool. We stopped by the one in downtown San Francisco and found fans and media ready and waiting to see snippets of Nathan's latest adventure. There were speeches, mini Chicago hot dogs, copies of Uncharted 2 for everyone in attendance, and a multiplayer tournament. Don't believe us? Check out these photos and look for an interview with Naughty Dog creative director Amy Hennig on Podcast Beyond this Thursday.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, like the tiniest little JPEGs you could imagine of me going through and putting these through, right?
God,
of what the event was. There's the Fortune Hunter edition, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah.
So is this, where is this at? Is this at the Metreon?
I
have to imagine, because that's before Metreon is a theater?
Honestly, you know where I think it was? And I'm not even sure if this theater exists. I think it was the theater that was in the mall right across from Market, almost at the Embarcadero building. There's a little shopping center there that had a mall.
That theater's still there, I think.
Is it? Okay.
They do like more indie stuff that's like not broadly like put up on screens, because I remember that's where I saw Sorry to Bother You and some other recent ones. I think Blind Spotting I saw there as well.
Because these are too small to be the Metreon or whatever.
Yeah.
They cut out footprints there to make you get there or whatever. But now, more importantly, right, so that's Greg Miller and Sam Bishop are ready to get this event started, right? You can find this, of course, Uncharted 2 theater event, IGN. You'll find the article I just. What you wouldn't find then is this photo, all right? Now, this is the same parent. We are at Kate O'Brien's.
Okay.
We are drunk as shit. You can see in the reflection, Sam Bishop taking the photo of me, right? This is a woman who will remain nameless, not because of any bad thing, but she is a PR person who no longer works for PlayStation.
Gotcha.
But she did at the time work for PlayStation. This story goes, 26-year-old Greg Miller, however old Sam was, this PR woman that I had known for the entire time I've been at IGN, we go to do the actual event, the Uncharted event, yada, yada, congratulations, everybody. Then let's go to Kate O'Brien's, which is a bar over in Soma or whatever, or was. Is it still around? I don't know.
I'm not entirely
We
sure.
probably showed up at Eddie Rickenbacker's as well, a classic from the old GameScoop stories. But we get fucking so drunk, so goddamn drunk at this thing. And because I, at the time, lived just blocks away.
Okay.
When I lived down there, I was like, let's go back to my house. You know, my roommate's home. She always likes to party. We went back and drank more there.
Oh, God.
But there's this moment where it's literally, I'm blacked out. And like, I come to, and I am in the bathroom of my apartment, locked in. This very nice PR person, I say PR person, obviously I know them very well, but almost PR person is so drunk, she's laying on the floor outside of the bathroom, just kicking the shit out of the door, trying to get me to come out. And what it took is that my roommate came out who had a real job and was going to work the next day, and just like lightly knocked on the door. I was like, Miller, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, nothing. And I just opened the door, and like we were all so fucking. And I went to work, and I reported on the goddamn event with my photos and everything.
Goddamn.
It's just a worthless clickbait article to get you to come look at this page.
I was in freshman year of high school.
Weird.
And with that story, that is our time here for Uncharted for Naughty Dog Week. Remember, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, I am putting out my new video essay, my first video essay in like a year and a half at this point, titled, I Replayed Every Naughty Dog Game, coming out this Friday exclusively on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames as a YouTube premiere. We were doing a bunch of gameplay streams building up to that, though, doing a whole Naughty Dog week of gameplay streams. If you haven't caught any of them so far. On Monday, we had Tim join me to play some Crash Bandicoot. Yesterday, I had Blessing play and try out Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy for the very first time, which I think he enjoyed because he's a big 3D platformer collectathon sicko. And today, Greg and I reminisced a little bit about the Uncharted series, Uncharted 2, and a bunch of other things, and got down to business and got in the weeds of the Texas Pledge of Allegiance.
Can you believe that exists?
Yeah, that's a thing that exists. The fun doesn't stop here, though. Tomorrow, you'll get your regularly scheduled Games Daily. You'll have the Roger Picorni interview with Caroline Polachek for your Gamescast, and then I will not be here tomorrow, but Mike and Nick will take over for me as they play a little bit of that Last of Us Part 2 roguelike mode as your kind of final part of the Naughty Dog week of gameplay streams, all leading to the video essay dropping on Friday. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Greg, thank you for taking your time out of your day to play some of Uncharted 2 for the first time in probably over a decade.
Long time.
Yeah, very long time. And until next time, it has been our pleasure to serve you.